Hi, Brendan. Are you on the train right now?
Oh, hi, Linda. Yep, I'm on the train right now. I'll probably be there on time. I'm looking forward to today.
Yep, me too.
Still, though, I'm pretty nervous. I've met your mother a few times before when I visited your house, but it's my first time meeting your dad.
I've told him multiple times before to meet you, but he always makes up some sort of excuse and disappears whenever you come visit.
So, does he think of me as some random guy that stole his daughter?
Even if that's the case right now, I'm sure he's going to have a better opinion of you once he gets to meet you.
I hope so.
Anyways, this time I told him that you'd be coming to receive their blessing for our marriage. I don't think he'll escape this time.
I'll do my best to receive your parents' blessing.
I'll tell him about how much of a good person you are as well.
Thanks. I wouldn't know what to do without you.
Alright, take care then.
Yep, you take care as well. To think that you were a piece of scum that grew up without a father. What? Could this be Alinda's father? I got your contact information from Alinda's smartphone. Is that so? First off, let's get this straight. I'm not going to be your father-in-law. I'm not going to let you and my daughter even get married. All right, then I'll call you Mr. Reed for now. Mr. Reed, why did you do what you did back there? Because you're a piece of scum that was raised in a single-parent family. I'm sorry, but that's not an answer to my question. Why did you throw that ashtray at me? You didn't just throw it at me. You were even waiting for me to enter the front door, poised to throw it. Luckily, it was only a light ashtray, and I was able to get away with only the swelling on my forehead, which you seemed to aim for. Not liking someone is not an excuse to throw stuff at them. You see, that's what I'm talking about. All I did was teach you a little lesson and you start getting all mad. You're a piece of scum that was raised by a single parent. Your reaction proves that what I say is right. If I may, there are people who become single parents against their own will. Even placed in such an environment, there were tons of people who have been raised on a straight path and are regular members of society. Don't you think that calling someone a piece of scum just because they were raised by a single parent is a bit prejudiced? You seem to want to say that you're a good example of someone that was raised on a straight path. It's not like I'm overconfident, but ever since I lost my father to an illness when I was 5, my mother raised me all on her own and even paid for me until university. I respect my mother from the bottom of my heart for that, both as a parent and as a human. There it is, your mother complex. Huh? I can already see my daughter being bullied by your mother, and you not doing anything if she were to marry you. Don't you think your interpretation is a bit one-sided? If the child is a piece of scum, then the mother must surely also be a piece of scum. What? I'm not going to let you marry my daughter. Mr. Reed, is that why you're provoking me on purpose? Do you want me to get mad at your heartless insults and insult you in return? So that I might accidentally say something that will make me and Alinda break up? Well, sorry to say this, but the things you said about single parents and their children at least don't apply to me and my mother. So there's no way I'm going to lose my temper and say something compromising. Huh? I'll end our conversation here for today, but me wanting to marry Alinda still hasn't changed, so I hope we can come to an understanding in the future.
Brendan! Sorry it took me so long to contact you.
Hi, Linda.
You see, my dad took my smartphone from me, and I was only able to get it back now. Mom got it back for me without him knowing. Is the place where the ashtray hit you all right?
Yep, it only got a bit red, and it's basically nothing now.
I'm glad. I'm sorry for my father. I never thought he would do such a thing.
Did you hear why he's opposing our marriage?
Yep, I heard. He explained it to us in grand eloquence. Me and Mom didn't know what to say after his speech.
Is that so?
I'm so sorry. I didn't expect him to be this opposed to us getting married. Even if you were opposed to the wedding, why would he just throw an ashtray at you without even listening to what you had to say?
Linda, let's calm down a bit. If we lose our tempers here, then we'll just be doing what he wants us to do.
You're right. Oh, I forgot. Mom says there's something she wants to tell the two of us.
Oh, Mrs. Reed?
She said she's been thinking about it for a while, but has finally decided it after seeing my dad's attitude today.
I wonder what it is.
She told us to set up a meeting when Dad wouldn't be around.
Got it. Could you tell her that I'm free on weekday nights and on weekends?
Got it, hold on. I just asked Mom, and she said the sooner the better. So come tomorrow after work. Dad works a night shift, so he won't be here.
Understood. I'll contact you once I'm done with work tomorrow.
I'm so sorry about today.
Hey, don't apologize. It's not your fault. Well then, see you tomorrow.
Yep, see you tomorrow.
So you didn't have enough and decided to come again. But I heard that you were going to work a night shift today. The production line was halted because one of our machines broke down. They told us repair would take the whole night, and so I got home early. Is that so? I'm going to marry Linda to another man. Huh? Her husband is going to be the son of an executive director of the company I work at. Me and the executive director have been friends for a long time, and I promised to him that I would give his son my daughter to marry. The son of an executive director? How does it feel? He's a part of the upper class. You're nothing compared to him. You work at a factory owned by a food company at S City, right, Mr. Reed? I'm sure Linda will immediately give up marrying you if I tell her about this opportunity. Don't you dare bother my daughter's happiness, you single-parent raised piece of scum. Is that so? If that's the case, then I'm done. I see. It's a bit rude of me to say this, but I'll praise you for knowing when to quit. Don't get any ideas. I'm definitely going to marry Linda. I just mean that I don't need a father-in-law like you. What did you say? Sorry for bothering you. Linda, are you all right?
Brendan, my dad. I'm so sorry again. To think that he would have come home early.
Apparently something happened at his company, so we couldn't have known. More importantly though, are you all right? I was forcefully kicked out of the house, but I'm worried about you and your mom who were left with him.
I'm fine. Dad kept texting someone or talking to someone on the phone, so he didn't seem to have time for us. The two of us took this opportunity and fled by car. We're at my mom's brother's house right now. By the way, Mom left him the divorce papers, which she already signed.
So her plan is already underway, huh?
She said she was intending on this all along and had been preparing since last night. She wanted to tell you about it, but Dad suddenly came home.
Oh, is that so? Based on what she said up until I was kicked out, I guess the preparation was the obvious choice.
Dad's probably going to try and find out where we went.
No, obviously I'm not going to tell him, so don't worry. More importantly, it seems that your father has an arranged marriage set up for you.
Huh? You mean he wants me to marry someone else?
Yep. He says that your husband is going to be the son of an executive director of the company he works at.
The son of an executive director?
Could it be someone you know?
He was a classmate during middle school. Apparently he's extremely bright and is one of the candidates for the next CEO.
Oh, so that's why your dad wanted you to marry him so much.
But I heard during our middle school reunion recently that he was already engaged.
Huh?
It seems that people at the company don't know yet, though. Apparently, his fiancée is the daughter of the company's CEO.
What?
If we let Dad do as he likes, I feel like a lot of people that have nothing to do with this are going to be caught up in this mess.
You're right.
I have a bad feeling that this is going to be a hassle.
Hey, Linda, could you let me take care of this situation? I feel like we need to finish things right now.
Do you have a plan?
I think that getting my mother to intervene is the quickest way to take care of all of this.
What? Your mother?
To be honest, this is a card that I didn't really want to play, but it seems like I have no choice if I want to stop this before things get out of hand. I want you to wait a bit longer. Hey, Brendan, what's the meaning of this? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Your mother was the largest owner of our company's stocks? I intended to tell you about it when I came to your house to ask you for your blessing, but you never let me in. But instead threw an ashtray right as I stepped into the front door and shoved me out. I was wondering what to do about all of this when you told me about the arranged marriage you had for Linda with the son of an executive director. To be honest, I couldn't help but be bewildered at your sudden news concerning Brenda's arranged marriage. Me and the executive director were classmates during elementary school and middle school. Not only that, but Linda and his son were also classmates during middle school. This couldn't have been a better bond. But I heard that the son of this executive director is already engaged. Huh? Who's he engaged to? I got permission from the two of them, so I'll tell you. It seems that his fiancée is the daughter of your company's CEO. Even if there hasn't been any official announcement in the company yet, I think that treating the executive director's son as if he was engaged to Linda without even asking him in his opinion is a bit problematic. This was around the time when me and Linda got a bit worried that a bunch of people who were unrelated to our marriage might get caught up in the mess that you were about to cause. Which is why I decided that I needed my mother, the company's largest stockholder, to intervene and have her tell the company about the situation. I had no idea this was happening. That's not the end of it. It seems that you were telling some of your colleagues that my daughter might get married to the son of an executive director. This eventually made its way to the ears of the CEO and of the executive director himself. Apparently, if my mother hadn't told them about the situation, this might have caused a huge commotion in the company. After all, the son of this executive director was already engaged, and to the CEO's daughter nonetheless. You're exaggerating, right? What are you talking about? Depending on how you look at it, one could say that what you did was disrupting the marriage of the next CEO and the daughter of the current CEO. So that's why I was told not to come to work anymore today. I don't know what the company is going to do with you, but it seems that you turned in the divorce papers your wife gave you to the city hall the day she gave them to you. Oh, well, that's... Elinda says that she's going to cut ties with you as well. Hold on, wait! Please make sure not to get the two of them, who are now strangers to you, involved in whatever happens to you. Hold on, wait! This is not what I was intending. The divorce papers as well. I let my anger get a hold of me, which is the only reason I turned them in. I wasn't actually serious. If my wife apologizes, I'm willing to get married with her again. That sounds like a long story, am I right? Well, yes. It's an important one after all. But I'm now just a stranger to you. And I don't need to listen to what you say. Huh? And frankly, talking to you any longer is just a waste of time. So, goodbye. Wait! A few days after this incident, it seems that Mr. Reed was told by his company to relocate somewhere far away. It seems that the people at the company have the silent understanding that that's where people go as a sort of exile. But Mr. Reed knew that he was being saved by the skin of his neck. And so, without a choice, he accepted. The next week, he set off for this remote island. Apparently, he now receives a much lower salary and is barely able to get by living on his own. Speaking of which, as he had never done any household chores in his life, he was having trouble living on his own. And so his diet was now heavily imbalanced. His room is full of garbage he's too lazy to take out. And his clothes are dirty since he didn't wash them. And his personality hasn't seemed to change a bit though. And he has no clue that the days until he's fired are numbered.
Hey, do you even have a purpose coming into work? You're a total waste of oxygen. How does your company even put up with you? Useless guys like you should just stay at home, in bed. Hello, Christian. Was there something I could help you with today? You don't even know what you've done? The paperwork that you submitted today was full of errors. I was this close to having to work off the clock to fix all the mistakes. Perhaps you need to have someone more capable take over this contract. You're more trouble than you're worth. Do me a favor and go make your mistakes on someone else's account. I'm sorry that you feel that way about me, but I'm quite certain there weren't any mistakes in the paperwork. You're kidding, right? It was full of them. Your numbers didn't match up at all with our numbers. So I ended up having to redo all of our paperwork so that the numbers lined up. You have no idea how much extra work I had to do. What? Doesn't that just mean that your paperwork was wrong to begin with? Shut your mouth. Don't forget who you're talking to here. Let me remind you that I am the elite banker for one of your company's most important clients. My apologies. It wasn't my intention to offend you in any way. I'm well aware that you work on behalf of Prelcom, but I can assure you that there were no errors in our paperwork. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I said that you are a complete waste of oxygen. You just put the blame on someone else for your own mistakes. That's just cowardly. You're absolutely right, and I agree with you completely. You're nothing more than a lowly employee, only suitable for punching in numbers and waiting for your next command. Compared to my status as an elite banker, we're in a completely different class. So don't think that you can agree with my opinions as if we're equals. You don't have that right. I'm sorry for overstepping my boundaries. Anyways, you better redo the paperwork and deliver the brand new documents by tomorrow. What? Why is that necessary? Because I said so, you fool. Besides, I had to redo our paperwork, so you should have to endure the same punishment. But as far as I can tell, there was nothing wrong with our numbers. How do you expect me to write up a new report in that case? That's not my problem. Figure it out yourself. You just need to do as I say. But there's nothing to fix in our report. Be quiet. If you're gonna keep complaining to avoid doing the work, we'll just break off this contract. Do you understand? I better have the new paperwork in my hands by tomorrow morning. Christian, please, wait! Let me just run this past my manager first. So, that was what took place during our call. Should I give in to Christian's demands and write up a new report? Don't even bother. Maybe you can just stick a new cover page on it and call it a day. I'm sure that fool won't even notice the difference. It won't even matter if you present him with a brand new report. He's just gonna complain about it anyways. He's always been like that, so don't even waste your time worrying about his illogical demands. I see. Was he this difficult to work with even when you were handling the contract? Difficult doesn't even come close to describing the huge nuisance he's been. Now that he's in a managerial position, I bet he's become even more troublesome to work with. I'm sorry for making you take over such a difficult client, Ronald. It's not your fault, but it seems like I've already run into a dilemma about how to deal with his antics. Don't worry, this shouldn't last for much longer. I have a feeling he won't be able to keep up his ridiculous games forever. Sooner or later, he's bound to face the consequences. What do you mean by that? I'm just saying that because of the way he acts, like he's so much better than everyone else, I'm sure he's made a lot of enemies along the way as well. Things will get much better soon, I'm sure. You'll have to bear with him for a little while longer, but don't let him get under your skin too much. Sure, if that's what you think is best. I'll do my best. That's what I like to hear. By the way, how's your wife doing these days? She's great, as always. I'm sure you know that our company is greatly indebted to her as well, so please give her my best regards. I will, of course. If I remember correctly, isn't it almost your wedding anniversary? Perhaps you can take her out to dinner at that fancy steakhouse that her father is also so fond of. That's a great idea. I think I'll do that. Thank you very much for your thoughtfulness. I'll talk to her and see how she feels about it. I can't believe you had the nerve. You actually thought that it would be okay to bring someone like that to such a high-end steakhouse? Wait, don't tell me she's your wife or something. I hope you don't think that you can get away with treating my wife that way. What are you talking about? What kind of an idiot takes their blind wife out to a fancy restaurant like that? Don't you have any common sense? Think about all the staff and other customers who have to accommodate her handicap. What makes you think that you should be so entitled? You're nothing more than a lowly paper pusher. That's enough. We were supposed to be celebrating our wedding anniversary tonight. You had no right to ruin our evening like that. You're definitely gonna pay for what you did. Oh, sure. Whatever you say. I hope you're not trying to threaten me or anything, because nothing you say can frighten me, you poor, worthless nobody. Anyways, that's not the kind of woman that you should be bringing to a fancy steakhouse in the first place. I said that's enough. So what if you're a so-called elite banker for our client? Tonight's dinner had nothing to do with our business relationship. You had absolutely no right to look down on us like that. What you said was completely unacceptable. And it was definitely not your position to scream at us to go home. Don't you think you're the one with no consideration for the restaurant or the rest of the customers? Actually, it's more embarrassing that lower-end people like you think that they deserve to dine there. And you realized that too when I pointed it out, right? That's why you left in the middle of your meal. Don't be so sure of yourself. We have a long-established relationship with the owner of that restaurant, so we decided to leave as a consideration to him. We didn't want to cause any more of a scene, so we decided to deal with the situation in a mature way. I hope you don't get the wrong idea about why we left. A long-established relationship? Yeah, right. How is that even possible? There's no way that you have the skills or the experience to establish any kind of relationship with people in this class. Well, let me tell you now that your career is finished. And it's too late now to make up for anything that you've done before. Huh? What are you even talking about? My wife is usually very good-natured and takes everything in stride, but she is absolutely furious with your behavior tonight. Unfortunately, it seems like you've really taken things too far this time. I have no interest whatsoever in anything your blind wife has to say about me. All I said was that handicapped people shouldn't be eating out at high-end restaurants. If only for their good, they should just stay at home. Do you think I said something that was wrong? Everything you said and did was wrong. But this is the kind of place that only elite bankers like me should frequent. Bringing your blind wife here is nothing but a nuisance for everyone. So that's why I said you should go home and stay home. I'm sure most people will agree that it's a legitimate argument. Well, in that case, we'll be transferring our $500 million in assets to a different bank immediately. Huh? You heard me. And of course, we'll be sure to inform your bank that the reason we are closing our account is because of your disrespectful actions. I told you that you were way out of line this time, right? Now you get to pay. What? What 500 million are you talking about? Perhaps this information was never passed along to a dimwit like you. But my wife's family has a tremendous amount of money deposited in your bank. Your wife's family? So what? There's probably not much your blind wife can do about it anyways. She may be blind, but she's not stupid. Just so you know, my wife's family owns and operates multiple real estate and hotel businesses, and they're one of the wealthiest families in the country. What? Her family invests in our company as well. As a matter of fact, it's even possible that they've made a financial contribution to your bank, in addition to keeping their funds there. But who knows? You're joking, right? Of course I'm serious. What good would it even do for me to joke about this? My wife may not be able to rely on her eyesight, but her mind is as sharp as the elite business person. She's very much involved in her family's business dealings, and I'm proud of everything that she's accomplished. But when she heard the way you were insulting me at the restaurant, she was infuriated. Which, like I said before, is quite unusual for her because she hardly ever loses her temper. Infuriated? At me? Who else, you buffoon? I'm sure if it was just that one incident at the restaurant, she wouldn't have gotten this angry. But she's also well aware about your constant put-downs towards me. She's quite determined to make you pay for everything. Wait, is all of this really true? She's already getting in touch with her father as we speak. So I'm sure that his secretary will be contacting your bank right away. And I can guarantee you that your name will be coming up in that call. It's all over for you. Are you serious about doing all of that? How is this even possible? Your bank is going to be losing a very important account that's worth a lot of money. And it's all your fault. I'm pretty certain they'll make you take responsibility for such a huge blunder. You may be an account manager now, but you definitely won't be moving up any higher than that. That's for sure. I still can't believe this. This can't be happening to me. You have no idea how hard I've worked to get this far. Well, even if it weren't for this incident involving my wife, your career as a banker was going to be over sooner or later. What exactly do you mean by that? Your unlawful actions have already been exposed. An elite banker that embezzled company money. I'm sure that's news worth making the headlines. Huh? What are you talking about? My manager already told me everything. Word is that everyone hates you, and you've made enemies left and right because of how you look down on everyone, right? People hate me? Like who? You really have no idea? Everyone that's ever had to deal with your arrogance. Which, to say the least, includes everyone at my office. What? I don't understand. What reason do they even have for hating me? You honestly weren't aware? This is a more serious problem than I imagined. You're nothing more than a worthless bully who's only capable of dealing with his frustrations by blaming other people for his own mistakes. You don't possibly think that anyone would be foolish enough to respect someone like that, do you? Wait, now you're the one that's getting out of line. And besides, I haven't done anything illegal, so I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Embezzling company money for your personal use? I think it's a big enough deal that it'll make the headlines, and your career will be over for sure. As a matter of fact, the police will get involved as well. That settles it. You can say goodbye to your elite banker status and any other good standing you might have enjoyed. This can't be happening! And what's embezzlement? I've never done such a thing. You don't need to convince me. Take it up with your company and the police. Well, this is just all the result of you making enemies wherever you go. It's only a natural consequence. You're getting everything that you deserve. You just have no idea what I need to deal with. Being in middle management is more stressful than you can ever imagine. I couldn't help it. My job was getting too overwhelming. So what? I just padded my expense report occasionally and teased some of our business acquaintances. No harm done, right? That's where you're wrong. It might just be stress relief for you, but have you ever thought about the people who are on the receiving end of your behavior? But if it's work-related stress that causes you to act like this, then how do you explain the way you treated my wife today? I believe she has nothing to do with your job, so it would be irrational to blame your actions on stress. Oh, well, that was something else. I never meant for it to come out that offensive. I was just trying to look out for everyone's best interests. You don't actually think that I believe such a lame excuse, do you? I assure you that I will be looking into what I can do about this matter thoroughly. And first things first, my wife will be transferring her family's assets to a different bank immediately. In addition, we'll be issuing a complaint for damages in regards to your speech and conduct towards my wife. A complaint? For what? What you've done is considered defamation under the law. Oh, and I almost forgot. You threw a glass of water in my face when you told me to leave the restaurant. That counts as assault, if I remember right. You're not going to blame that on you being drunk or anything, right? It won't even help if you do. That was... no, well... It wasn't out of spite or anything. I really didn't mean any harm. It was just a misunderstanding. Or rather, a misleading expression. What kind of an excuse is that? It sounds like you're having trouble finding your words today. Why don't you just say what's on your mind, like you always do? I'm very sorry. How can I express my sincere regrets to your wife for saying those things to her? Would you please do me a favor and explain to her that this was just all a small mistake? Make her understand that I never meant any harm. I am completely ashamed about the way that I acted, and you have my sincere apologies for my behavior. So why don't we just settle this matter between us? There's no need to make this into a big deal. We're all adults here, so let's just be mature about it. You're kidding, right? You want to act like none of this ever happened? When in fact, you were the one who was a poor example of the way a mature adult should act. Yes, I'm very aware of my ineptitude. However, we had all had a few drinks and had let ourselves loose. That doesn't make any sense, especially because we weren't even drinking with each other. As a matter of fact, even if we were drinking together, your actions would still be unforgivable. I'm very sorry. I just got a call from my manager. Please, try and persuade your wife to change her mind. I'm begging you. I swear that I never had any ill intent. Please, you have to help me. Yeah, right. What makes you think that we would ever do that? How can you be so cruel? That's easy. It's because I've always disliked you from the beginning. Maybe if you finally learned your lesson after all of this, you'll look for a new way to deal with work stress from now on. Anyways, goodbye. Former elite My wife's family is well known for their wealth and success. They had an account with Christian's bank to manage a portion of their personal assets. But as a result of the incidents at the restaurant, they decided to transfer all of their funds to a different bank immediately. When the account executives were informed of this matter, it didn't take long for them to find out that Christian was the reason behind this sudden request. In addition, the truth about his embezzlement was also revealed. So not only did he receive disciplinary dismissal for his dishonesty, he was also reported to the police for his illegal actions. I filed a complaint for damages against Christian for assault and was able to receive a large payment for damages as well as a restraining order. After that, I no longer had any professional connections with Christian, which was a huge relief. Christian, on the other hand, was abandoned even by his own family, so he really ended up losing everything. Perhaps for him, it was a lesson well learned. If you wrongfully use your status to bully people, you're only going to end up losing everything that you've worked so hard for.